All right, we are Team Indecisive, and our group has chosen to do deconstructive versus constructive conflict for our final project. Our group found out during the course of this project that we all changed majors throughout the course of college, which is something interesting we all had in common, and hence the name Team Indecisive. But moving on, with conflict and teams kind of diving in, our team defined this as a mixture of situations that lead to disagreements, challenges faced, or wrongdoings that can bring team progress to a halt. The internet defined this simply as conflict within a team that may lead, or that may be caused by different goals, values, or perceptions of team members. But moving on, we have two basic types of conflict. This is going to come down to constructive conflict and deconstructive conflict. Very briefly, constructive conflict is that is that of which progresses teams through solutions through means of collaboration and other important items to have during constructive conflict. And then we have on the opposite end deconstructive conflict, which is going to be the vice versa of all the positive items of which I just mentioned. And then, so kind of to dive into constructive conflict, this is going to be disagreements, misunderstandings that are dealt with in a healthy, progressive manner. It comes in many forms, so there are many strategies that you can use in order to facilitate an environment of constructive conflict. But in order to do this, you want to do things like focus on the facts, create common goals, use humor, and focus on a balance in the power structure. Like I said, all of these are going to facilitate an environment of constructive conflict. Moving on, though, we have deconstructive conflict now. So this happens when differing opinions move towards a sense of antagonism, which do not move towards a sense of progression or finding a resolution in the problem whatsoever. These can be caused by treating questions and criticism as personal attacks, mocking or ridiculing other individuals' opinions, and refusing to consider your own position when dealing with a solution for an issue. But we have some constructive conflict examples now. So that's going to be some collaborative meetings, giving advice, evidence, and reasons to support another's ideas, actively listening to others' points of views, building on others' ideas and suggestions, having positive conflict to produce the best solutions, being open-minded. All of these are going to promote a sense of progression towards a solution within the conflict. And these are really just some environments where you can truly facilitate a sense of constructive conflict. Moving on, though, we have some deconstructive examples. So these are going to be, like previously mentioned, treating questions and criticisms as a personal attack. So an example of this is team member 1 presents and team member 2 asks a lot of rude questions about the presentation, making number 1 feel attacked. So there may be some different ways that team member number 2 could ask these questions in order to not make team member number 1 feel attacked. Use these positive, constructive conflict strategies. Another example of this is refusing to consider your position. So in this example, team member 1 presents a proposal. Member 2 suggests an idea that could be added to number 1's proposal, but team member number 1 decides to dismiss my idea without considering it fully. This is an example of not fully considering all of your team members' opinions within a decision, which is a very important thing to use in constructive conflict because it is the best way to find the best solution. You have to consider all of your teammates' ideas within a problem to find the best solution. Otherwise, you may leave out important parts of this. But our final team's recommendation and conclusion is that teams should prioritize constructive conflict over destructive conflict to foster a positive and productive team environment. Our 2 recommendations are simply just to establish clear communication guidelines that will allow for respectful debate and focus on issues instead of personalities, and also an implemented structure problem-solving technique like brainstorming or root cause analysis to address conflicts and encourage objective analysis and collaborative exploration of solutions that emphasize problem-solving rather than blaming. But thank you so much for listening to our presentation. We are Team Indecisive, and this is our presentation on constructive conflict versus deconstructive conflict within a team setting. Thank you.